Welcome back to Mana Central. I'm Kenny.
And I'm Sam. Today we'll be doing a set review for Shadows Over Innistrad. We'll be talking about the new mechanics, and we'll be talking about our top favorite cards.
So we're going to start off by discussing the new mechanics in Shadows Over Innistrad, starting with our least favorite and ending with our favorite. So
that means we're going to start off with Investigate.
Yeah, Investigate's probably...
Yeah, you cards that have Investigate, you put a clue token on the battlefield, and you can pay 2 mana and sacrifice the clue to draw a card.
Get a little card acceleration, but I mean, it's a mana save.
And also I look at it one of two ways. The first way is for a control deck, if you're keeping mana up, and for example, like for a counter spell or for an instant that you want to play that your opponent doesn't end up reacting or end up needing a response to.
Right.
It's something you put mana into, draw a card, that's cool. You can do it as an instant on their end step, for example. Another thing I like about it is it puts a permanent on the battlefield, and a lot of the spells in this set deal with sacrificing permanents or sacrificing clues, so that's going to help you if you have kind of a throwaway, you put the clue out when you cast whatever spell has Investigate. If you want to play a spell that lets you sacrifice a permanent, great. It's going to go in the graveyard. I don't like it because it doesn't count towards your Delirium, which we'll talk about in a few moments, because it's a token that doesn't exist in your graveyard. I don't like it because I'm not super impressed with the cards that have it on. There's cards that interact with the clues, but there's not very many cards that I really want to, that get the clues out there that actually have Investigate, that make me be like, this is what I want to see.
Yeah, there's only one card currently that has an Investigate that seems kind of worthwhile because it's you investigate for each permanent or each creature.
I like the one it's just Investigate 3 times. That's kind of cool.
Just Investigate 3 times?
Yeah. And there's there is one that's like you investigate for the number of, where you put like a bunch of stuff out. But overall, I don't know. Not super impressed.
Not much.
Nothing crazy. But the next mechanic that we're going to talk about is Delirium. Delirium's not bad.
Delirium's interesting to me because it provides, Delve's going away. Was there any Delve in Dragons?
There's a little bit in Dragons,
Okay, so we'll still have a little bit of Delve left, and I mean that's really where
at least
Delirium...
I think it was. After I said I'm trying to come up with a card that had Delve in Dragons.
Yeah. On the other hand, the new returning mechanic of Madness will play heavily with Delirium, which we'll talk about Madness in a little bit here. But that's really where we're going to kind of see the discarding being a benefit for something like Delirium, getting those card types into your graveyard so that Delirium will trigger. There's a few handfuls of cards that have Delirium on them that look like they could have potential, but
I like it better than Investigate because we don't really know how easy it will be to enable Delirium.
Right.
In Standard. We haven't really seen it play out. We don't know if it's going to be something that's going to be pretty easy or if it's going to be something that's going to be a little harder. I like that there's a lot, there's artifact creatures in this set. There's, that's really the only card that has that double card type.
Right.
But you put an artifact creature in your graveyard, great, you're halfway to Delirium just with that one card. There's a gargoyle that flips, and I feel like if you're the only reason you would be playing that would be because you want it to die because it will get you halfway to Delirium.
Yeah, and artifact equipment. We've got at least one piece of equipment, maybe 2.
Well, equipment's not a card type though.
It's not.
Okay. Artifact.
The artifact is the card type. Equipment doesn't count as a card type. It's not a subtype. Okay. But yeah, Delirium's got some promise, depending on what you're playing. But we're going to have to wait and see exactly how much play it's going to get.
I like the cards that get better with Delirium, as opposed to Mind Rack Demon that was on the Blessed versus Cursed dual deck. I don't like cards that are okay with Delirium, and then without Delirium, they're like bad.
Yeah.
Like I like the cards that are kind of decent on their own, but then get better with Delirium.
Some of the ones that like add plus.
Yeah, they get
X plus
stronger,
X,
or like there's an Ox, there's a white Ox that has +1/+0 in Vigilance when you have Delirium, and then it's like, and then it becomes a 3/5 instead of a 2/5 with Vigilance, and that's like, okay, that's better.
Oh hey, I have a decently.
Yeah, I have an okay creature, or like a halfway decent creature, as opposed to just an okay creature, and
something that'll survive most sweeps because of Delirium. So the next mechanic is Skulk, which I put that a little bit higher, just because it seems like it's going to have a lot more usage. It seems like it's going to be more easily accessible.
And it's a type of vision like Menace.
Yeah.
It's a way to get your creatures through their big stuff.
Being able to hit something because it doesn't match up, especially at lower power toughness like that, it's nice.
I like it.
So Skull's definitely going to have its place for probably a lot of aggro.
And I like that you can swarm with your little creatures and then not be completely stalled out because they have a big dude.
Right.
It's like if you want to you can. It'll help you get through. It's I don't know. I just for some reason I feel like it's gonna be. I feel like it's gonna work.
Sure,
I like it.
Yeah. And that brings us to
our favorite. So our favorite is Madness. Not only is it a returning mechanic, but in a vast majority of the cards, you end up spending less for the card when you discard. There's lots of spells in this set that have a discard effect. I loved it originally. I love it now.
And of course, as it is a returning mechanic, it makes sense that the favorite mechanic, I think, for everybody out there is probably going to be Madness, just because it was part of the original Innistrad, and now it's back, and it was
it's
powerful.
Really cool. Yeah,
it's a powerful. Yeah.
I'm not a fan, and I know this is just for me asking too much, but I'm not a fan where the Madness cost is the same as the casting cost of the spell. Like, I like it when it's cheaper, or like on some of the red spells when it's X instead of...
Right.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah, it's great. It's like, okay, instead of, I think it's like 3 or 4 mana to deal 2 damage. It's like
X and a red.
Like, I'm all about that. That's phenomenal.
What is that? Yeah. No, it's brilliant, and that's why Madness is as much fun as it is because it's discard to pay either a better cost. I mean, you see that with a lot more of the rare cards, the mythics, but it's that I think that's really what's going to kind of play a big part, especially in Standard right now, combining cards from Origins, especially Jace, Friend's Prodigy.
Draw a card, discard a card. Okay, I'll discard this Madness card.
And discard Madness, exactly,
play it for its awesomeness. And then Jace is also going to work really well with Delirium.
And just another excuse for him to get more expensive.
Right?
He's just going to go up.
Gross.
I mean, last I checked, he was sitting at like 90.
No, he's not.
Yeah,
that's
sitting at 90
horrible.
right now.
The last I checked, and I stopped looking when he was at like 78, and I was like, stop.
Yeah, no, I saw him sitting in my LGS actually today, and I was like, hey, what's he going for now? And they were like, oh, it's 90. And I was like,
horrible. This is, total tangent,
sure, but
I feel like it's gotten to the point now where he has become a barrier into the format.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I want to build a cool Standard deck. I'm a new Magic player, and I really like blue. Cool, you want to build an effective blue standard deck? You're going to need 4 Jaces. That's not $400, please. Like, that's...
yeah.
For 4 cards in your deck, like...
Yep.
And I know Standard's not supposed to be as expensive as Modern, but
it's horrible. But it kind of is right now.
Yeah.
Now, it's not that... Disclaimer: we have no problem with Jace. He is a brilliant card. It's just obviously we share the
no
feelings.
Disclaimer. Horrible card. It's not a horrible card. Jace is great.
We do
But-
share the sentiment with the vast majority of you folks out there as well that are like, wow, we'd really love to have a Jace. And
Sure would be nice. Well, I do have one.
You have
I
one. You have one.
And that is all I will ever have.
Zero. I have zero.
I had two.
I know, and you let it go at the worst time.
I know.
But I mean, of course, there's yeah. Anyways, but those are the current mechanics, and Jace is obviously going to play super well with Madness. Discard and
I want to talk about it anymore, Kenny.
Okay.
I want to talk about it.
But that's that about covers Shadows Over Innistrad, new mechanics, and kind of what to expect.
We're going to talk about our top 5 favorite cards. Kenny's got 5, I've got 5, and
yeah,
let's do it.
Yeah, all right.
All right, so now we're going to kick it off with our top 5 favorite cards for Shadows Over Innistrad. These are cards that we either think will be really effective in Standard, Modern, Commander, whatever formats, or cards that we just really like, and think are awesome. We each have an honorable mention, so it's really 6, top 6. My first honorable mention is the Gitrog Monster. 5 mana, Death Touch, cool land interaction. I mean, beginning of your upkeep, you sacrifice a land, and then you can play an additional land, and whenever a land goes into your graveyard, you draw a card.
Yep. He's a 6/6.
5 mana, 6/6, Death Touch, all of this awesome stuff. And I saw that first thing where you have to sacrifice unless you get rid of the land. I'm like, oh, major downside. And then I kept reading, and it was awesome. The only reason this one didn't make my top 5 was because I don't play green-black, and I don't like... I'm just not the biggest fan of graveyard interactions when it's not Snapcaster Mage.
This guy.
I know, I'm sorry. I love blue so much. And I like black, I just don't like black-green.
Right.
I don't...
He's not a Golgari.
It's not what I play.
He's not Golgari. So my honorable mention is Altered Ego. I just don't know how much it's going to see actual play, but I think it was a really, really cool card concept. I think it's a great idea, and it's something that I think might actually get play in any other format outside of Standard. Maybe Standard. Anyways, it is X2, a blue and a green, for a 0/0 that can't be countered, but you copy, as it enters the battlefield, any creature on the battlefield. And if you were able to pay its X, you get to put that many additional 1/1 counters on it. So, right out of the gate, you're getting something that could be a 1/1, a 2/2, 3/3, 4/4, doesn't matter. If you're able to pay the X, you're going to get that many additional 1/1 counters, and I just think that's awesome.
Yeah,
it's going to be fun.
I like it a lot. I think it's really cool.
It's like Ultra Clone, and I just love it.
Alright, now let's get into the actual list. My number 5, Startled Awake. 2 of anything and 2 blue for a sorcery that mills 13 cards. I'm a big sucker for mill. Stuff that mills effectively is awesome. It's right there, close to my heart. And it mills 13, then you can pay 5 mana, 3 of anything and 2 blue, to bring it back from your graveyard to the battlefield transformed. Yep. It becomes a 1/1 with Skulk that whenever it deals damage to a player, return it to your hand.
Yep.
So it's just... You get to bring it back out, you get to cast it again, it's just...
Mill all over.
I love it. And it's probably one of the best legitimate mill cards that we've had.
Yeah.
In a really long time.
It's very cool, and if there's anything, there's 2 things in Magic that just make me want to punch things, and that is milling.
Love it.
And land destruction.
Don't love it.
Milling also it's terrible, but Startle Awake is actually a very exceptionally nice mythic rare.
Put this in some sort of like green-blue ramp with Ulamog.
Oh, not only milling for 13,
attacks,
but hey, 20.
20 cards. You're going to cast this spell for 13. It's
brilliant.
I don't know. It's probably never going to work, but that's like my big pipe dream is to have Ulamog and this card in the same
And this card work together. Alright. My number 5 is Cryptolith Rite. 1 and a green for an enchantment that has creatures you control have tapped to add 1 of any color to your mana pool. I think this card is legitimately kind of broken.
That's some mana fixing right there.
That is some
turn
serious,
2.
Oh, it's nuts. Especially with green-white being fairly popular in Standard right now, I get the feeling that something like this is just going to add to all of the necessary mana ramp that you could possibly need.
Totally.
It's just there's not much to say about it other than it is nuts.
Turn 2, you've maybe played a creature, maybe.
Yeah, turn 2, you've got 2 mana, you play a creature.
That you put out.
You play that, you've got, 3 mana plus whatever you play next turn or more. I mean, it can easily go just really cattywampus real quick.
I like it.
So,
all right, on to my number 4, which I kind of cheated. I have my number 4 split. On one side, if we're talking just Werewolf Tribal, my number 4 pick goes to Gaia Reach Bandits, a 3/2 with haste. When it transforms, it's a 4/3, and when a werewolf enters the battlefield under your control, you can transform it, which is insane.
Yeah,
not having to worry about spells being cast, not having to worry about meeting certain conditions. It's just cast your werewolves.
Hey,
now it's this.
Transform.
But my caveat is it really only goes well in Werewolf Tribal.
Yeah.
So my alternative number 4 is what I think a lot of people are excited about. Falkenrath Gorger, 1 mana, 1 mountain, 2/1 vampire jerkface should be the additional creature type.
Yep.
It has no downside. 1 mana, 2/1 vampires in your hand have madness, where the madness cost is equal to their current mana cost. Whatever. It's 1 mana for a 2/1 with no downside.
No downside. And the rest of the game is, so long as it's alive, is just, hey, I'm going to discard this vampire, and I'm going to pay this mana, and it's right that on the battlefield.
Right.
No big deal.
And the worst part is, I don't care.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter.
It could have no ability whatsoever. It's 1 mana for a 2/1 with no downside.
Yeah.
Red decks everywhere. We're like, what is this? This is the coolest. And I love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
It is awesome.
Too bad I don't play red more. Otherwise, it would be higher on the list. But strongly entrenched in blue. Can't really. Blue, white, black.
Yeah.
I can't devote that much effort into all those colors, Kenny.
Coming up for my number 4 is Westvale Abbey, a land. I'm a big fan of lands that do fun things, and this one certainly meets that bar. So tap for colorless, tap, pay a life, pay 5, pay a life, and add a 1/1 human cleric.
Black, white, human cleric.
Yeah, onto the battlefield. So fixing yourself up.
Why would you want to do that, Kenny?
Some of those creatures, because eventually you're going to tap or pay 5 to tap, sacrifice 5 creatures, and then transform. And as you transform, you then untap it.
What are you untapping?
Ormondal. Ormondal.
Profane Prince.
Yep. A 9/7 flying lifelink indestructible haste super horror demon thing.
Craziness.
Just, hey, I'm evil now. I'm just gonna eat you.
If you get to 5 mana and 5 creatures,
it's a 1-turn.
What?
Flying haste, indestructible, lifelink, just.
Oh, what's that? You don't have a Path to Exile or other cool exile effects in your deck? Okay, you're not going to win. 9/7.
Yep. He's.
Okay. Okay. Flying, haste, indestructible,
And lifelink.
and lifelink.
So it's like, hey, I'm gonna swing
Gross.
with flying and get the lifelink.
So
And
gross.
it happened right away. And it's also, you can't just, you
Stop
can't
saying
kill it. You can't kill it. You have to
Stop.
exile it. It's nuts. So I love Westvale Abbey. It's very in tune with my favorite card of all time, which is Dark Depths. Something that starts as a land and does something.
Oh, when you saw that blue card with the big wave, were you really hoping it was?
It really it toyed with my heart a little bit. You know, there was a lot of speculation that Merit Lage was going to be something in this, but of course, they haven't revisited it yet.
Right, giant planeswalking sea creature. You would think it would
Right?
show up eventually.
Yep. Yep. But look out for that land, because it's coming.
All right, next up is my number 3 pick, Sage of Ancient Lore. 4 of anything in a green for a star creature. Its power and toughness are equal to the number of cards in your hand. If no spells were cast last turn, transform it. When it transforms, this is where things get crazy. If you want to talk about a commander card, here it is. It's also a star. It has vigilance and trample, and its power and toughness are equal to the number of cards in all players' hands.
All of them.
All of them.
All of them.
You're playing commander, and you've got 3 or 4 opponents. We're talking
a
giant
beast.
creature. We're talking
With trample.
right? And vigilance, so it can block. I mean, Wizards was basically saying, here you go, commander players. Here's a giant creature that you're going to love.
Enjoy.
So great.
It's nuts.
And we play commander. We're big commander fans, so this guy's going straight into my mono green commander deck.
That seems like a fitting place for it. Really does.
I really like it.
Yeah, he's going to be quite a bit of fun as well. And then one that I think has been a pretty big favorite amongst everyone so far is Thing in the Ice. You know, they have several cards at this point that they just named as if they just kind of pointed at something and went, we're going to call this card Thing in the Ice.
That thing over there. What's going on?
So, 1 and a blue for a 0/4 that comes into play with 4 ice counters on it. And whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you remove an ice counter.
What?
Yeah, remove an ice counter. Hey, sounds familiar. There's something called Dark Depths, something about
You
like
can't get off that card.
some ice counters.
It's gonna
and
be like...
you remove them, and eventually something good happens. Anyway, you
totally
transform.
unrelated.
You transform Thing in the Ice, and it becomes a 7/8 Awoken Whore, Kraken Whore. And when it
What does
enters,
the Awoken
when
Whore
it-
do, Kevin?
When it transforms, all non-whore creatures go away.
Non-horror creatures? You
Non-horror. Yeah.
I like it.
It's nuts. It is actually going to be pretty fun, and that was the other thing that kind of like hinted at Merit Legion and just made me sad. Again, it's another thing about Dark Depths.
Wizards of the Coast. Kenny wants Merit Lage back.
It doesn't even.
He doesn't care how it happens.
It doesn't
he just
matter.
wants it back.
Just bring her. There was so little lore, and I just want more.
All right, we're into the top few cards, and neither of us had talked about Planeswalkers or Avacyn.
But he's gonna ruin that right now.
But don't worry, gonna ruin it right now. My number 2 card is Jace, Unraveler of Secrets.
surprise.
Beautiful, glorious, so blue Jace. 5 mana, 3 of anything, and 2 blue. His +1 starts with what? 5? Starts with 5.
5 loyalty.
5 loyalty for 5 mana. We're already off to a great start. +1, scry 1, then draw a card. Great +1. Super blue. Huh, do I want this?
I'm gonna leave that.
Yeah,
and
I'm
then
gonna draw it. Or do I want this? No, I'm gonna draw the next one. Love that. Then he's up to 6. Then you're pretty solid.
Yep.
6 loyalty can fend off a good chunk of stuff. Or when he comes out, if they've got a giant creature out there, just do a little -2. Return that creature to their hand.
It's a little bit of a
Unsummon.
stall, and
Super blue. Again, awesome.
still at 3 loyalty at that point.
8 loyalty, if you ever get there, you're going to be sitting pretty because you get an emblem with whenever an opponent casts a spell. If it's their first spell, you just counter it. You don't need to.
No big deal.
You don't need those spells,
No
right?
big deal.
You just counter it. And that's, again, this is probably, in my opinion, the most blue Planeswalker, like so true to like the core blue abilities
Yeah.
that we have ever seen. Scry, card draw, unsummon, and counter spells? Like, what? I love this card.
Yeah. No, and it.
I
and
don't
it
even
makes
care
you,
that it's 5 mana. Like,
It makes you wonder what potential Tameo is gonna look like, because I think before now Tameo was probably the second closest. As of now, the second closest full blue Planeswalker.
to really like embodying what the color does
Right.
and is. Yeah.
Right. that hasn't been a Jace of some form.
It's so good. I mean, like...
He is quite fun. He defends himself with his own return ability because, anything that you may have to worry about targeting Jace, you can just return it to owner's hand. And then from that point, you have the ability to accelerate yourself. I mean, it is a solid Jace. His -8 something that I think is...
I just wish I could get to.
It's going to be difficult to get to. It's still absolutely worthwhile if you can get to it because it's just like, hey... Every time you cast anything going forward, you're going to have to deal with the first
spell,
thing.
throw it away.
It's just like, okay.
Hope you have mana for another one.
Oh, crap, you have that Jace emblem? I'm just going to tap my mana and discard this now. Thanks.
Hopefully have enough left over to play this other thing.
Right.
And do I think it's going to be as expensive as Vryn's Prodigy? God, no.
No.
Like, there's no way... that it's going to be like a $70 or $80 card. Do I love it? Absolutely.
Yeah. It's a great... It's a fun Jace.
What's your number 2, Kenny?
My number 2, Sam. My number 2 is going to have to be Archangel Avacyn.
What?
Yeah,
I hate angels.
Yeah, totally. No. Angels are not my bag. Yes, they are. They're great. They're really expensive, and that's honestly the only thing that keeps me from ever really playing them. Because I mean, the last time we had a great Planeswalker, Angel was Sarah Avenger, because she was only 2 mana for a 3/3 Flying Vigilance.
She's pretty cool.
Not the card we're talking about here. The card we're talking about is Archangel Avacyn. For 3 and 2 white, you get a 4/4 with Flash, Flying, and Vigilance.
5 mana with Flash, Flying, Vigilance.
The Flash
already
is what's like,
great.
Yeah, you don't even need to read the rest of it. It's like, oh, hey, by the way, I'm just going to flash this in, and then you've got Flying and Vigilance to go along with it. When it enters the battlefield, all of your creatures gain indestructible until end of turn. So
I'm going to flash this in after I've blocked your giant, gross Eldrazi, and all my dudes are indestructible.
Oh, they're fine. Don't worry about it. And so from that point, though, when a non-angel creature you control dies, you can transform her at the beginning of your next upkeep.
Which is cool, because if you block, your creatures die, you get your next upkeep. If you attack and your creatures die, the downside is you gotta wait till your whole next turn with your opponent knowing she's going to transform.
Yep. And they know.
Right? That kind of looming over their head, too, could be kind of fun.
You're going to get purified next turn.
Like, you gotta remove this now. We're going to have some problems.
Avacyn, the Purifier, is a 6/5 red. She's red now as she flips. And then when she enters, or when she's transformed, deals 3 damage to each creature and each opponent.
Each other creature.
Each other creature. But still,
and
that's
I like that when she's red, when she flips, she doesn't have Vigilance anymore.
Yeah.
Because she's like super like, I'm gonna kill you guys.
Because Vigilance is not a red thing.
It's not a red thing.
It's a white thing.
It's not a crazy, insane Avacyn thing either.
But it's great. It's like, hey, you flip it over and sweep.
I love it.
Sweep.
I think it's super cool.
Sweep. And there's some things right now that's gonna allow for some bounce action, get her to flip back over and, get her to
back to your hand maybe, and then cast her again.
So, I'm liking Archangel Avacyn.
Alright, number 1 card.
So jealous.
Number 1 card.
So jealous.
For me, you have a number 1? It's okay.
I do,
yours is cool too. Number 1 card for me, Sorin Grim Nemesis. Is he expensive? Kinda. 6 mana. 4 of anything, a white and a black. Starts with 6 loyalty.
6 loyalty!
Just like Jace. 5 mana, 5 loyalty, 6 mana, 6 loyalty. I really like it. +1. Reveal the top card of your library. Then put that card in your hand, so it draws you the card. And you would think, oh, it's kind of like a black thing, maybe you're going to lose life. No, you're not going to lose life. Each opponent loses life equal to that card's converted mana cost.
Yep.
Draw a land. Cool.
Nothing.
Your opponents
Everything's fine.
don't take damage, but you don't take damage.
No. Yep.
It's like a really awesome card draw effect on a white-black creature. You'd expect some sort of life loss thing on your end, but gets even better. -X. He deals X damage to target creature or planeswalker, and you gain X life.
He defends himself.
So immediately when he comes out, if there's some giant thing that you don't want to deal with, or somebody played Jace and -2 him on the first turn, I'm going to get rid of that and I'm going to gain life.
Yeah. Sigarda, she's a 4/5. You drop Sorin -X for 5.
Take
and it's
her out.
Hey, she's gone. You gain 5 life.
It's awesome. His -9, which I don't really anticipate a whole lot of people using or really even getting to, maybe more so in Commander, but put a number of 1/1 black Vampire Knight creature tokens with lifelink onto the battlefield, equal to the highest life total among all players.
I think that's really key in Commander.
Right? You're playing Commander, you're going to get, 30 maybe, but depending on some Commander decks, like if you're playing against a Loro or some other life gain strategy, potentially, like let's say 90 1/1 vampires with lifelink.
Yeah.
Like my only issue is that they don't have flying. Like, and who cares when you have 90 of them?
Exactly.
Right? It's crazy. It's such a great recovery. Like if you're in like a kind of a really crappy position, but Soren's, you get into 9. It's great.
I'm really excited for Soren. I think he's a solid player. He's same mana cost as Elspeth, Sun's champion, and we all know how well she did.
She really well. She did defend herself with soldiers, though.
Yeah, +1 for 3/1/1 soldiers. That's Soren's going to be doing some sweet things too. I think he's very underrated at the moment because of how expensive he is mana cost wise, but loyalty ability at 6.
Right, and with the new standard, with the mana bases changing, without having fetch lands, we might be seeing a slower standard in a card that is 6 mana.
Fit perfectly.
Yeah, could go really, really well. So we'll have to wait and see. But my money's on this guy being awesome.
Yay, Soren. All right, and here comes my number 1 pick for Shadows Over Innistrad. I gotta give it to her. She is just remarkable.
Nahiri?
Arlinn Kord. That's right, Arlinn Kord, the new transforming planeswalker, the first one we've seen since Garrick. Garrick the...
that one, Relentless Hunter Veil Cursed, I think?
Yeah, he was a transform that wasn't really...
Was okay.
It was alright.
It was not special.
I wouldn't have...
Not great.
But Arlinn Kord is 2 a red and a green for a 3 loyalty planeswalker that has a +1 and a 0 ability on the front face. That's it. 2 loyalty abilities. Its +1 is until end of turn, up to 1 target creature gets +2/+2 and gains vigilance and haste. So not bad to give yourself a little bit of defense room. Otherwise, it's 0 to put a 2/2 green wolf creature token onto the battlefield, and then you get to transform.
Which is cool. I love that you can choose essentially when she transforms. It's not like the werewolves where it's spells or stuff your opponent does or stuff that you do. It's like, okay, I'm gonna pay 0, get a wolf, and then she flips over to
Arlinn, Embraced by the Moon. At that point, you're going to have to keep track of her loyalty ability, probably on a checklist card, because she doesn't show her loyalty
or just
on the other side.
Dice.
You could on a dice or on your life pad.
Or
just on
write it down.
Just write it down.
Do that.
But her +1 creatures you control get +1/+1 and gain trample until end of turn.
I like that's all creatures.
All creatures.
That's nice.
Yeah, that's pretty wicked. Deal -1 is deals 3 damage to target creature or player, and then you get to transform her back.
Oh, she switched back. Oh,
yeah,
that's
cool. That's where the
I like that.
Yeah, transform Arlinn Embraced by the Moon, so you get to go back to. It's cool because she has so much control over her ability to transform. Where all the other werewolves, it's like you cast spells to get them to, and she's just like, I can do it.
Now I'm a werewolf. Now I'm human. Now I'm a werewolf again. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
I do what I want.
And then if you can get to her -6, you get an emblem with creatures you control have haste and tap. This creature deals damage equal to its power to target creature or player.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's a sweet emblem.
That's crazy.
That's a powerful emblem.
Because with them having haste, they could come out. They could do that right away.
Yeah.
You cast a big enough thing, you can end games
Yep, they have haste and they can tap right away for that.
Cool, you're at 8 life. I'm gonna cast this 8 power creature. Now you're dead.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Yeah, Arlen, you know, honestly, I wanted to talk about Nahiri a little bit just because she happens to be part of my list of just in general favorite planeswalkers. I thought Nahiri Lithomancer was great. I loved her as Stoneforge Mystic.
Okay,
she was great, but Arlen really, really outpaces Nahiri Harbinger. Just
takes the cake for you.
Yeah, no, and it's really cool because she's a werewolf. She's a werewolf planeswalker.
Werewolf tribal.
And
I'm gonna try see if I can make it work.
And yeah, I love it. I love it. She's great. She's an exceptionally awesome looking planeswalker.
Yeah.
So that encompasses our dual top, technically 6, so our top 12 in total cards for Shadows Over Innistrad that we're really, really looking forward to. We think is going to see some significant play in Standard as well as Commander, and maybe even a little bit of Modern.
Maybe that sweet
Falcon
vampire
Wrath Forger.
guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh.
That guy. That guy. Yeah. Girl.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure that's a girl. Anyway, so that, yeah.
Yeah. Thanks so much for joining us. And we look forward to seeing you guys with our next video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe.
Let us know your thoughts.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What are your favorite cards? What are cards that you think are way better than the ones we picked?
Yeah. Please, by all means, let us know. We love the discussion. If there's some cards that you thought were way better than the ones we mentioned, we'd love to hear about it. Be sure to give us a like, subscribe, follow us on Twitter at Mana Central. On Instagram, we occasionally post some pretty fun photos with Magic involved at Mana Central. And at Facebook, we are facebook.com/The Mana Central, where we like to try and keep up as best we can with all the upcoming content that we're seeing and just anything that we want to talk about in regard to Magic. So,
yeah. And if you haven't done it yet, check out our last video. We're over 100 subscribers now, and we're at almost 7,000 views. So we put up a little video asking you guys to give us ideas for our next Modern Showcase.
Yeah, our next Modern Showcase, we're going to be putting up a poll for that.
Throw a comment down there on which decks you would like to see.
Yes. So, thanks very much again for joining us here at Mana Central, and we'll see you guys again soon.